we found in our viewers. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Any side we saw na this whole so viewers they can't tell about boku do. We're glad you don't come again today. Now that beautiful day, especially for we Christian brothers and sisters. Then we know say the pastor they mean preach very good. Sermon today. We're gonna the head, 11 at the heart. You know the science and technology. We says now viewers don't watch now that we they broadcast anywhere. We lead broadcaster Naya. It is somewhere else, but he go talk to you over the phone. Inside will be part of this. And they put certain things together where they have this broadcast for go before. Me self where they talk to the so I know the but I go also the import invoice. So we manual go then at the we go then at the studio and I go see we distinguished lawyer Mr. Mohammed Shillong, my God power. We don't help promote the profile of this place here. So let God continue for make let he help we can go to Mount Olympia and see we don't want to talk beaucoup. What I want to do now, I just want to go to Mr. Shillong, let tell do. Then we lead a broadcaster, Fadima Savage. He said, we tell what do. Then we keep the topic. No, I'll begin up more and go. So back to you, Mr. Shillong, and just tell from what do, sir.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, any time on a day at the world. Like Professor Kutubu just say, and I involve you just here so. It's always a pleasure for Camp Tuna for we share opinion and information, and hopefully the 1 or 2 hours we will spend together that we inform, we pick up from we safe. From Una pick up from we the host then pick up from Una, we're able to spread Una concern. We hope say the government will listen, because we say the spirit of this broadcast is to promote awareness and to try to make constructive suggestions, not criticism, suggestions so the country will be improved. We do what you would do purely out of concern, out of love for the country and for humanity. So with that spirit day, we hope when I go listen and make suggestions if we get any and call in to the show as usual. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shillong. We will go to the leader, broadcaster, and we will tell her. Then he tell you about he will give you an update of the corona, he will give you that. Then he will also lead in the story, they come up with the story, they'll pick up. So, Madam Fadima, back to you. Tell the people how to give you an update of the corona and then start for through the discussion in, they'll go pick them up.
Well, we people on a good afternoon, another day. First of all, we say thanks to the Almighty for another chance to make it right. Today, at the 28th of February, 2021. 2 months don't go inside 2021. What we don't do in that 2 months day? What we don't do for we self? What we don't do for others? And what we don't do for we country? What we don't do in we contribution for help push humanity go before? Today on topic, like how they say what's in the trend for this February, what in the government don't do, what in we expect the government for do, and what in we they read the people and they talk, that make with the canto now, we then think and they every week by week, like I can say, this now voice of Sierra Leone, we all voice matter, we all voice important, everybody in voice no matter what, we respect everybody, we can disagree respectfully, we respect we self. Not for cost, not for Allah, not for make blah blah, but now for we're able to hold a decent conversation where everybody go hearing safe. And the one that where the 1 week country, then self go hearing for make the change where the country deserve for go before, or what you would desire for go before. But today we begin with coronavirus. As always, corona then at the world, corona don't all over the world, corona don't take over the world. Okay, but Corona not to God. Corona people and still they do their life get for go on, life get for continue. But then get thing where they say we get for take precautionary measures. We get for take precaution. And one of the things them where they say for wear mask, for make social distance, for do this. Inside then country where they every day the news they watch new corona they come out, even though the vaccine don't come, and not guarantee we 100% say we not go corona. But we were in a salon, we tell God thank you because at least 79 people, and as much as 79 is a lot of numbers, but 79 people, we tell God thank you for that. Say now only 79 people, but every 79 of them one then get family, then get loved one, them where they hurt, where they make for them. Today they say we're not getting no new case of corona. We tell God thank you. But one thing we've seen at the social media this week here, so we see them Chinese them they don't donate 200,000 coronavirus vaccine to Sierra Leone. And boku noise make about that. Boku noise they don't talk before say how China their other country them with man country now African and they use as guinea pig. The question where some people and they ask, do we really need the corona? We like what they partner with them people and we like what they help we, but do we know the virus this vaccine where they bring for we if it good for we and it good forget the vaccine because corona then a salon with the catch one day did it. You know boku like boku because we all know say we're not able social distancing. Social distancing that they we're not like but we say you know they happen in Africa. Let alone Sierra Leone, all man they over and compete, all man they cough over and compete, all man they talk. But it take the grace of God. That's why we advocate for the mask because the mask now in the help for make what you pitch for me or breathe for me not go inside me use everything make so. So now they want that for the corona. The Chinese they don't bring 200,000 vaccine. Some people they say why we for take them, we don't need them. May them go take the China ambassador where they in a salon, let them go get the first vaccination for the batch. Let we make sure say it right before them put up with people them because long term and many term then people here they don't call life we they don't use Africa as guinea pig. So we not going for say that they know they happy no people then are they concerned and they so I pass on to una if we not get anything we say thank you to them for what they give me, but the question be is it the good thing? Is all of China? It's all of China they already get them vaccination when they share their own with we don't know what's in the inside there. But now pass on to una sometimes una get sense pass me una go able for talk small bit of that this time.
Yeah, thank you so much. Mr. Shilon, before I call you for give me your opinion about this, I just want to tell everybody say we lost one of the former big people in the country. I mean Desmond Luke, and also was Desmond Luke. We now before we minister, he passed away yesterday. In the course of service, he do a lot of good job in SALONE. He represent the country in Germany. He also served as Chief Justice. He served as foreign minister. He served as Minister of Health. And all that. And he's a very distinguished man. And he come up from a very distinguished family. His papa na be speaker. In fact, papa na be the first black man will be judge in SALONE. Sir Emile Fashion Luke. So yesterday now he say he passed away. Let God get Ariana for nothing. Or let God make he receive eternal rest. Mr. Shilon, I want to pick up on that thing where Ms. Fadima don't talk about, this corona, this mess with the care go. Actually, the way he talks, say why the ambassador, the Chinese ambassador in Salon, why they don't Trump and enforce to see how they go react. And I don't know if you can able make any sense out of that, sir. Weigh in and see.
Well, yeah, two things. May I just touch briefly on Mr. Desmond Luke?
Yes,
I know, Professor, you think a lot of people that know him, but I don't think a lot of people that know him because of in era. Now in the 60s, when Shaka Stevie came in power, I think Naina being forced foreign minister. But then fallout because of he was the no-nonsense kind of guy. So when he says Stevens one director and in the wrong direction, in fact, he may very well be the only person that the Stephen cabinet or maybe the history of Sierra Leone will resign in position out of policy difference with the prime minister at the time. I think Stevens was prime minister before he manipulating way and come up with this fictitious Republican constitution so he can consolidate power from being, because we get governor general, will become prime minister, which was the way the independent constitution was structured. But Stevens wanted absolute power, so he maneuvered away and get rid of the independent constitution and come up with what he called Republican Constitution. So the office of governor generalship was disposed of. And then he became president, which he wanted to be, so he can be the sole authority on the executive side. But Desmond Luke was a very prominent lawyer. Like Mr. Kutubu said, in Papana, be one of the renowned judges in the country. And in fact, Desmond Luke became a brother with a medical doctor who was also very Luke, who was very popular. So when he and Stevens get policy difference, he resigned. Like I say, I'm not 100% sure, but he may very well be the only person we know of who resigned a cabinet position since independence in Sierra Leone, because he will not accept any kind of diversion or deception from politicians, let alone the prime minister. So he was a great man for all we know. And he also come from an extended family, because he also had a cousin whose name was Leslie Luke, who also attained high, became Chief Justice. Then I think in fact, he went all the way to Botswana, Leslie Luke, and became Chief Justice in Botswana, you know. And that branch there of the Luke, and then they get a cinema will be in a side street. I think they be called the cinema Strand cinema, and be very popular cinema in the 60s, because in the 60s we get Strand, a side street, we get one Waterloo Street. I don't remember the name around it. Then we get Odeon, will be there in Westmoreland Street at the time, became Shaka Stevens. So Desmond Luke, who for always remember some of their name then, they because most people that would listen to this show, they were not even born then. So they will know very little about who people like those were. But when we were still there alive, fortunate enough to know about them, now we job for pass them over to the information over to younger. But even some people were in their 40s and 50s now, they were too young to know who Desmond Luke was. So, like Mr. Kutubu said, let God give good passage and blessing soul. Now, going to the corona. Now, this is not a criticism. This is just an analysis from me own perspective. And I encourage people then for disagree. In fact, I would love for the government, this is the area when we raise issues, if government, that's why I was impressed with Mr. Soare. In our last broadcast, we will play a video. Mr. Soare, the man in charge of purchasing at the government, with Mr. Ba raised the issue of impropriety. Mr. Soare at least had the courage. This is why I like some of them young guys there. A calm and give an he did not take issue with Mr. Ba, but at least he added to the discourse by explaining from your perspective what's what. So the same thing here. Anything we would say, not a criticism. We don't want people to take it the wrong way, but we would look at it in the broader context. This vaccine, even in America, where these things are being manufactured, people raise questions, you know, about the effectiveness as well as the dubious nature that may be promoting the dispensation of them, even in America. Okay, because there is history of then vaccination here in years past having been used for the wrong purpose to minorities. So knowing that, when we in Africa, and we know say the Chinese, not of us, they love we so much, they just like we because we're African. They like we because we get wealth. And then get the expertise how to extract that wealth where we get to where we don't know how to extract the wealth. So that relationship there, wherein they build with we, it not come out of genuine love. It come as a result of economic opportunity. We must always have that at the back of our mind. So It's just like if you go to Wataki, you get boku money in your pocket, but you feel for take a little nap, you link in the corner. Let's say you get 20 million in your pocket, you for sleep with one eye open, one eye closed. You know, that will cause serviceman. So when the people are in television and they send vaccines for we people, we should have a lot of questions. Knowing the interest in wealth in Africa, is it out of just concern about well-being? And who else? Because with the area, but the vice, the one they wait and make in England, the vaccine where they come from America. Why haven't we heard anything about the manufacturing of this the vaccine when they send Africa? You know, whether the World Health Organization don't analyze them and feel say it fits for we, where we now get a system whereby we self can put them into test. But the suggestion by ordinary people, it makes so much sense. If it is so good, the Chinese ambassador, Sierra Leone, and every country should be the number one thing, because we see what happened here. Where President Biden, they want to let people and take, and then self go with the vice president and take up. Forgive people in the confidence. Then the doctors then follow the doctors and say, we trust them vaccines, they are so much, we self the take up. That give people like we courage for go take up. Okay? Now, if then the same way then vaccines there, what you will need for do, they need for, we don't even need for tell them, they need for demonstrate to we. For say, listen, I mean, what you would send on a good. In fact, would the make way ambassador be the first in line for take up? Then the next in line for be the Minister of Health, if he believe them, laying stand next for take up. Then we doctors them. Before we begin subject ordinary people, I think if we fear and if we are concerned, if we're being responsible, we for treat then kind of a gift there with suspicion. Nothing wrong with that. But if we not do that, with the mortgage, the future of picking them, because we know say there is still suspicion in the United States, in Europe, that this corona come from in Hunan province, China. And then get their own thing, then say experiment was being conducted, something leaked out of the laboratory, what we call laboratory in Aya, and that's what has led to this world pandemic. So if the big powers them, we get as much technology as China, then if suspect certain things, I mean, there is something wrong with we if we just openly, willingly, just to go nearly greedy. And the Chinese, they are so sophisticated, they may do things where certainly in 100 years from now, it will get the effect where they plan for, they can get people them. Past certainly 100 years from now, everybody know to grow past 2 feet tall. 100 years from now, maybe we Africans then begin, we at the most, we're not the fat past 100 pounds. We don't know. Then Bookman, the way the lead when for raise them questions here, you know. But me go suggest say not only the Chinese ambassador, as I agree, but I think next in line should be the Minister of Health and the cabinet members. So then give confidence to the ordinary man where they work and treat every day the hustle for a livelihood. But if we can't do that, then there is something wrong.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Madam Farima, I want to let you pick up. I mean, we don't seem to forget some international recognition there. The mayor, I mean, unprecedentedly, we don't see in our Time magazine, hey, Mr. Ben Kefala, he said, you know, United States of Order Honor. I want to let you one more at that area. Let's use that in the context of fighting corruption and what you expect now from Mr. Ben Kefala, we don't get this kind of honor, and how you expect the mayor also inside this kind of a recognition where they don't give how you expect you will build on that. While they win on that.
Forget then kind of recognition, then they are while them put the mayor and also Mr. Ben Kelfala from the State Department, then say Ben Kelfala they do a good job. And unado yerina many times I don't say now one of the people them where they give me hope for say Salone go cover but some they can do, it can kind of win them, I hope, a little bit, make they say, wait a minute here. Is he going to be able to win this fight? Is he going to be able to do this? But America, the outgoing ambassador, puts a wall where the State Department don't approve of, where President Biden don't sign, where then Guillaume say they do good job with some other few other people them along with some other few people in Africa, along the Africa, where they call say they do a good job on fighting corruption. You know, but the question is to this kind of award where Ben Kelvala don't get, so we see picture them where they associate with the president going to this trip where he go na bond, where he go, we see him, you know, they waiting and call. The question at the mind of the Sierra Leoneans then say, is this man going to fight for the country, or is he associated with the president? And Mr. Shilon, I know say you get a good analysis, a good kind of thing where you go explain to me, where you see the president and the ACC boss, then they socialize, you know, then they socialize with politicians them. Will he be able to do the work of the people of Sierra Leone? Yes, America don't give him this wonderful degree, which is so good. We all proud of him for that. But will he be able to fight? Because when you don't make paddy with them people, yeah, when you don't make paddy with the one day where you get for, are you go investigate them if them come for investigation when all they sit down and eat and drink together? It will be very difficult. It can't inside the conflict of interest. The mayor self in good work the way they do. Time magazine name one of the 100 people them where they kind of for the future for push things go before now the wall, and they recognize that is very good. These are young people trying to push Sierra Leone forward. And that is what we want. And that's why we sit down day after day. They advocate for the one day where they lead, where they talk to President Bill. You have to put people in power that are going to do the job. Not to the one day where they reward their old politicians, where they just come for themselves. This mayor here, I have nothing but exceptional, good distinction things that where this mayor they do. And this is a woman that holds her own. She stands her ground, and the world, they recognize him. And I say good job, Mayor Akisoya, and good job to Ben Kelvala. But the other side of Ben Kelvala, where they give me small bit waiting and call that person to you, Mr. Shilon, let you say for a month on this.
Well, I may go separate Mr. Kelfala in your award and achievement from that of the mayor. For one main reason, the mayor is a politician with a constituency. And so she is able to do quite a bit by in power of persuasion and in vision. And the word vision ain't missing now in our country, because what it takes to move a country forward is vision. When a leader gets vision, then you will put the technocrats who are the educated, qualified people for put into effect the vision where you, the leader, see. So, for example, where America was able to send spacecraft to the moon, as a matter of fact, America just had a craft that landed on Mars, 300 million miles on a voyage, 7 years, 7 months, I'm sorry. 300 million miles, arrived just a couple of weeks ago, and sending beautiful pictures and everything. That was a vision by a leader who was not a scientist, but he get a dream that mankind is capable. Then he knows say there are renowned universities and Ayahu can produce the mind for achieve that vision there. You know, vision is a very important thing in the development of a country. You know, Malaysia, Indonesia, not because they get vision of visionary leaders them, I make them outside and they today. They were also colonized by the British. Now make way a lot of we they make complain with make noise about how the white man left we. They're not left with too bad and give we basic education that could have helped us to go as far as we want to go. So Akisoya, going back to the word vision, I read an article by the actor Idris Elba, where himself in Australia born but he grew up in England.
Can they
Where they
put
try
that
for
up for you?
yeah, where they try for build help for develop Mount Island in the vision where in CM. Okay, now Mr. Elba talk about the vision where Akisoya tell and say in get for make Freetown a renowned, a prominent, a prosperous city. That's the kind of leadership a country needs. We leader them for the talk about vision. What do you see Sierra Leone to be like 5, 6, 7, 10 years from now? Well, if you're a minister of transportation, who's kind of highways, who's kind railways, who's kind seaways, you the dream of for level country get, whose kind connections we will get with other country. How efficient will these things be and how fast will be and how helpful will they be? We need leaders with vision. So when Idris say, Akisoya get a vision, that alone impressed me. Then you can also see by the way they govern Sierra Leone, that she is deserving of their recognition there. Because the woman is engaged in planting trees where we busy to cut down. To the point we begin to get much slide where we not use forget because of irresponsible governmental policies or non-policies for that matter. The woman is busy cleaning the beaches. But I know of an instance in which a young man went to play ball on a beach. This is less than a month ago. Where a kickball, some metal go all the way inside foot. Almost like 6 feet, like 6 inches into a foot. Because of this metal, this rusty metal then at the beach day. This is how dangerous it is that you're not going to even walk a barefooted. And everybody will know anything about beach. One of the fun people have is to be able to go there, pull your shoes and walk an empty foot. But with the two-way dirty, with the two-way dangerous things then they. Akisoya get a vision for eliminating kind of a thing then they. We get one of the most impressive and one of the proudest city council building that Sierra Leone can brag about as a result of Envision. So by her being recognized by Time magazine, she's very deserving of that because we can see the result of effort. I'm distinguishing you from Mr. Ben Kelfala. I love Ben. I get the utmost respect for him. I think he's a very highly skilled intellectual. But he gets an awesome responsibility that he doesn't have control over to carry out. This is the problem. Like Ms. Padima referred to him being a birthday with the president. Well, even though, from me on perspective, that the position of ACC commissioner is that of, or is almost, I can liken that to that of a judge. If the president don't appoint you to the position of judgeship, doesn't necessarily you're there to implement the president's agenda. That's your job that. Does it necessarily mean when the president get party you for present day? Because that position, they call for an appearance of independence, an appearance of non-alignment. So if president get party, you not judge, you to go there. If president get Christian, you not judge, you to go there. It kind of hard for give that image there for say, you man. So the ACC commissioner in position, that similar thing. Once you are appointed commissioner, from your perspective, and Mr. Ben Kelfala is very capable of arguing in position and disputing what he had to say. But I think the appearance of independence is very, very important. So him being seen for perpetuate or support or participate in the president's visit to Bonth. And we know, say, the president go get dual motive. When he go, one motive could be political, another motive could be that he is genuinely concerned. Not politicians have to be viewed differently, and suspiciously. And the president is a politician. So I don't think the optic, the appearance, and Mr. Ben Kalfala is a lawyer, he knows in the legal profession, appearance is presumed to be reality. They make most statute or a lot of rules and regulations within the craft in the law. They say, or even with conduct as lawyers, always indicate don't engage in any kind of conduct that gives the appearance. Appearance matters. So when you see the ACC commissioner, they as one of the people and where they follow the president for go promote an agenda, it doesn't look good. So Mr. Ben Kalfala may be well-intentioned, but I think, say, in role is almost that of a judge, if not even more than a judge. Once he's appointed to that position, he should maintain his independence from politicians, from the president on up, or members of parliament. That's me on point on that thing.
Thank you. So, what we want to do, I want to ask Madam Fadima, in light of this, remember there has been a lot of allegations of financial wrongdoing. We Mr. Badon bring. So I want Fadima weigh in and see.
Yeah.
Where we go from here? What the parliament don't do? How we will address this here for let the citizens and be very sure of the fact say yes, in fact the government is very concerned, they do something about it. So Madam Fadima, address that and also.
The problem here is there's an allegation out there by Mr. Chernobyl, and Mr. Chernobyl put out evidence them. We see, like say last week, we played video where Mr. Ibrahim Soare, when I in a head of procurement and when I in the money business, na in the give approval, can talk say in willing for make Mr. Chernobyl ask her any question. We see Rado Soare don't come there. We read and say Parliament, the representative of NGC, Kande Yumkela, Dr. Kande Yumkela, and Cheikoko, they don't write letter for us for hearing. But then with the Yeri rumor, they come back say, with the Yeri talk on social media, they come back say, the Speaker of the House saying there's not going to be an hearing. The question now be, then we see Mr. Ben Kalfala, when a commissioner, he said, well, Inge for go back for look at, now so in the doing your investigation, they go back. The perception is reality. How people when they see things, that's how they interpret them in their own light, in their own way, in their own thing, how they see them, and it is not looking good. So the question here is this what the Sierra Leone people deserve? Is the process working for the Sierra Leone people? Because people are becoming, this is why, like some people, they attack the ACC boss, say the ACC boss is not being fair, and we they ask the question, where is the unity, freedom, and justice for all for the scale? At least let it allow the process for go on. Let it allow hearings for go on, because the role of parliament, whether you read here, parliamentarians them for on behalf of them people them, they ask questions. So the parliament get for count on their feet, because they don't like 1 month now, this thing they go back and forth. Tell the world don't hear about this. We SCC boss don't get a good award. Say it fight corruption. We all hear they Panam, Sierra Leone and then they Panam. Even those supporters, then they say yes, na so, yes, na so, yes, na so. Or then they come at Chernobyl. We as Sierra Leoneans, when we hear something, they say let we innocent or proven guilty. This man don't make investigative reporting. He don't go say 14 months he they do this finding here. He don't present at the table, but it look like say foot then they drag foot for do this. Now so it look to people them. That is the cry on social media, and people and they say because they give Mr. Ben Kalfala It's a pressure upon her now for make he do the right thing. Will he do the right thing? Will he do the thing of the people where the people make him to in conscience? Because it don't always say in your man. It do waiting, it feels saying the right thing for do. And as somebody like I was say, I don't talk many a times. I believe, say, one of the people where they give me small hope. The struggle continues unabated, but I'm still a little bit hopeful. Without an end, we see the problems, the troubles, the corruption in every different angle of Sierra Leone. Corruption there, and we know say now the cancer. Well, one of the cancer then because not to corruption, not to the thief no more. Because our minds, our mouths are blocked. We don't get blockage in our mind where we not see thing and able call we not get the courage for see things and call them as they are because we affiliated to parties, we affiliated to this. Then again, then they talk on the social media say how Dr. Abbas Bundu content when the speaker of the house, how will he get investigation where they don't get him picking a position as ambassador to is it Kenya or wherever it is or one of the African country. They don't give him ambassadorship. So is that not all that stuff where people then they talk about when not they make it look good, where they make like they look like say and they drag foot for do the work of the people? How long will we for that? Don't Sierra Leoneans deserve better? Don't our people deserve better life? Don't we have the right, the God-given right, the innate right for able for actualize with potentials in an environment where go thrive and get the best of we? That's not the question where we ask, because it is not looking good at some point. Yes, it is good for let the white man praise we because they are our partners, but how will our people see us? Is all that praise what we get, is it coming back? Or all the thing that we see President Bill, it don't build it don't go turn soil, it don't go turn the ground over. They don't begin say this hospital what would they talk about where one of the things that where they kill we and we don't talk on them. We see President Bio this end of January, beginning of February, he go turn the soil over. It is hope. It is giving hope. But because some things, they're doing some things, but because the negative is out there, we cannot see the good. And that's why we they call on President Bio and the people that when they pay for do the job, come out there to the people and try for give we comfort. We need something to hold on to. We need the beacon of hope. Like Ben Kelfala to me is carrying the torch, the responsibility. Then I add is a big load. He's a young man where go even come one day for be president because I ask her that question there. He say in waiting God say, but these are the people we hold on to, the young minds of Sierra Leone, the progressive minds, because all this other stuff. Why would the speaker of the house say another old hearing? Why would he not hold hearing? That everybody in a so no more waiting they come out of this? That's the question. What will come out of this? Nothing. Like every other time, will nothing come out of this one? That is the question. Sierra Leoneans are asking. Sierra Leoneans are talking on social media. And this, now social media review and VOS, that's why we're bringing this. We're not here to bash anybody. We're just here to talk on the issues, to discuss on the issues. Let go at the years of the one day where they rule where they make laws, where they do things. Let them speak to their conscience and the mind. Say, how long will Sierra Leoneans be taken for granted? How long will we, the people of Sierra Leone, unblock we mind? Because sometimes you come at them, you put the thing at their face, they are attacking Chernobyl for whatever reason. But that is wrong. If you want to disagree with what in Chernobyl put out there, come out there and talk. Not come out there, begin all these mamikos, all these calling names, go out of people and character calling people. That is not fair. How will we go forward if we save our enemy to we save? How will we go forward if we don't have love? Where is the spirit of 1961? Where's that spirit? 60 years come April 2027, 2021. Where is that spirit? We don't have love. We don't have this. We see on social media the attire base. What is attire base? Attire base, then they break down attire base. What's in a attire base? Why now idle corner? Who say people they not get nothing for do for what talk idle and politics and fets themselves. We see attire base where they fed for 2 candidates them inside the SLPP party where they say Manso Dumbuya and Bramaketa. Then they fetch, then they make, then see the what thing they call them, because then they go broke at what's in a attire base. Do they need that? They need jobs. We see President Bio, if they make that road for go how they call it, Liberia. That road, then they make they say they put 1,500 young people then to work. That is good. But the idleness to Bokuna the country. Let we go back to the drawing board, like we call it them, we say from Inga. Let us go back to the table and see who we don't do wrong and see who we don't divert, because without vision, the people perish. If we lead and not get vision, I can always say, President Bio, I look at you as a military man. Yes, we're not there in the military, but the discipline of the military rule and take the country to the direction where you promise we say you go take we to. So I pass on to you, Mr. Shilon. Let you say for more about this talk here, sir.
Well, actually, what you our Mr. Shilon do man. I only talk about this thing about this with fish business where they say we short of dainty and they get for food or kind of some kind of a cake thing. If you want to talk about, talk about this with fish in business. Waiting responsible for why we don't
I think
fish
it could be helpful if we play the. Well, can we play the video first? Then we can follow up with, because there's a video too.
Oh, fine, no problem, sir. No problem.
Let me play the video so people can relate to what you would talk about.
Okay, no problem. If you can have the technical team for put them up, that's fine.
Yes, if the technical team can put them up for you.
Two girls dressed in white cloth. Both were below the age of 18 years. They were reported and described as virgins who had never been sexually contacted. These two girls were on board in local boats with two other security boats side by side securitizing them. In the boat was cooked food contained in the container dressed in white linen. But of what use this ceremony is all about? Alfred Tanu is the former harbour master. He says, this is done to please the gods of the sea, adding, and I quote, most time when there is fish scarcity, the ceremony is done for more fish to be available at the wharf.
Well, the ceremony what they do something, they can go get with culture, take cook their account to the devil, call on devil, and go give them food. So let we turn to the sweet, and that make we cook. So the food, and that make the food. So there we can go there we turn no cake fish, and we don't go cake fish. Because the devil and the control fish have this water. So if we don't go cake fish, let we turn sweet. Then we do every place we do, so we give them when they get to everybody go with it. Well, we can go to them big people and we sew it. Them go no man, we sew it. And then they go, they cook, they get it well, and they cook it. They tell the food, they get them. So when they get them, they end up picking away, lots of people command businesses. Then they take care of it. Not to just say any kind of money. Now small people not have to command people. Now we take care of it. We turn the food. Give them security. Because they go use the brand to get the devil outside and get both them when they get secure. Both you will get over 10 years now. So try back because difficult to get on the beach. Better catch now they can.
The medium tried hard to reach one of the virgins that were on board in the boat to deliver the food ceremony to the gods. Hawa Emma Mansare says she was calm and performed the ceremony as she was instructed. She continued by saying the food was taken to the sea gods in order to please them, for enough fish to be available at the wharf. This is a proof that the culture of tradition is still being practiced by our traditional healers in Sierra Leone. Reporting for FTN's Top News, I am Lukule Moses.
All right, now we can. The one that we don't listen to this. I mean, I say I am a great believer in tradition. Some tradition, even if it don't make sense, if it not hurt anything, it's okay. I can give a good example. We come out of the Western area, particularly with the Creole, the Marabout, as well as the Christians. Then we get one tradition. I don't know if the other tribes then get them, but we get 7 day, we get 40-day cook where we person and die. So part of the tradition is with the dig hole before the house or the side of the house and put some of the food we would have fixed. Now that whole day we say for the diamond for can eat. Well, not a tradition and they would hurt anything. So it's okay. Not a tradition will make sense because we don't say the diamond they can eat anything. But we are comfortable with it because psychologically, spiritually, it makes you feel at ease with yourself that we are doing something. Nothing wrong with that. But tradition, we're unproductive, and sometimes we need to take second look at. We all know, say, first of all, the other problem, which was Jimmy just said so, this thing about virginity of the titi them, make it look like if they're not a virgin, there is something wrong to have had contact with man. Where is the evidence of that? That if not a virgin, or there is something wrong about the woman get for be a virgin, that kind of thing. These are all the silly things that we need to get out of the way because it doesn't do us any good. In my view, I think say some of the incidents they will just need to eliminate them completely and try for do the right thing. Because tradition, it reminds me of the story where somebody tell me once. The Europeans, the Americans, they get a tradition with the dead, then go to the cemetery, they left flowers. So the Chinese, they get a tradition just almost like we, where then they care food for the dead at the burying ground. So there is this story about the American, then see the Chinese people and bring food by the graveside for Lefande. So the American thinks say it's so funny. He said, I go talk to the people. We stand and think say this diamond go eat this food. So then go to around and say, what is this food for? He said, oh, no, for the dead. The Chinese man said for the dead. So the Americans say, but when you think say the Chinese, when you think say the diamond will come for can eat this food. And any Chinese say, well, the same time where they come out for can look the flower we want to bring for, and at the same time they go eat the food. They go look the flower, they take the flower, they eat, they go. So both sides they show both sides how silly the whole thing is. The diamond they can pick flower and they can look at, but psychologically, traditionally, spiritually, it's good. No condemnation about that. But we know say when we talk about scarcity of fish, there is something scientifically wrong. There is something socially wrong. There is some kind of contribution what they create a shortage there. We all know say if water dirty, fish then tend to go far at sea. The water get for and be clean. We know say if the water is polluted, if we throw it dirty there, if we do all anything in there, the fish they not go there. And we also have, which the two women don't understand, if we think say we get problem with the fish we catch, we left out 2, 3 causes them. Cause number one is the fact that poachers them, so to speak, other country, then they come at the dead of night, search we harbor, clear all with fish, thereby depriving local fishermen them for fish, because then Korean trawler sometimes in collusion with people, we big time fisheries them, then they clear all the fish them. We know that one day, for say that they happen, which could be one of the reasons why there is a scarcity at the beach. But we also know say, now that make we get marine biologists, and that make we get environmentalists. So we get, I think we even get fisheries department. So why can't we put the expert then to work? The marine biologists then, the environmentalists then, and all the people that were concerned or responsible for make the sea and the shore clean enough so we will produce more fish. But we ignore that one day, and people are not giving people advice and say, just take the young woman out to sea, give them give the sea gods the what call, and fish will come. But we all know that not going to happen because there is a fundamental problem as things are now the place there, and that is if the water not clean, if the water contaminated, fish not go there, no matter which. That's my own contribution to that. So we need the harbor master being the one in charge for take picking into sea, for give food. I think what they should be doing, the Ministry of Fisheries should get experts, biologists, marine biologists, and people with the expertise for figure out why we get scarcity of fish. And that include the security of a coastal area too, where we're not able for secure.
I think that's the biggest problem, sir, with that fish business. The more of the security of our coast, because we get them big collar, they what they call them big nets them where they can't catch all the fish them. Then
Yep.
then they get now they small baby fish them. When nets come, then they do illegal fishing in our water, and then the small fisherman they will be not used for just go halfway. They not get the capacity for go too far inside the water. Then keep that aside, they get fish, little fish, then they bring come where they go do them fishing there, but tradition and customs and tradition and belief and whatever, it's to each its own. But there are some of our customs and tradition that have held us back, and like I said, we get blockage. We get blockage. The blockage of the growth of is our minds. Because like how you then show this, so then we get one where they say if you born picking with deform, then they go put her under the thick net, then snake they can't take her with the snake and double picking. Then they shy away from that thing, and they more and more and more. Not to condemn tradition, because people have to hold on to their identity, but certain things, we will try, for shy away from that, because that is not the solution to the problem. But then still believe, because in our minds we believe say that thing and to take it away you got to replace it with something. And what are you going to replace that thing with from them people now in the question where the whole one of the things that we all will not grow in we mind, in within, and with other stuff. So tradition now one of the blockage. Now we mind with the old tradition, religion. Now in the old we be in Africa. So I pass them back to Unade.
Meanwhile, I want to address something here. We get for the criminal violence in the question that we really come overseas, so we go. The problem they go through, go to the, even they attack you. For example, even if say case number Kenny, one man with the attacker, then you see all the man will come out here in family and go. You see with me, then they treat them on the how. But what I want to tell we how this thing has happen and how they will stop this thing. So how government will give we the kind of assurance. Say people they come here where they will be very safe. I want to let you work more for another thing. They citing examples of which
I go up much for that because a team were very important. Very important. After the air we breathe, na security. But let we take call at them, because like we say, this not the voice of Salon. Let we listen to what we brother and sister them. Let we take some call them first. Let we see what they want put inside the caller. Good evening. What's in your name, please, and who's you they call we from?
Because if we don't believe, say, you believe in one God, and you say the gods, they are the sea and they provide the fish. Now, who created the sea? Now, who put life into the sea? Now, God Almighty. So, if people they believe in those traditionalists, about what they do with those sacrifices. They're just a waste. If it's our food, when to cook, they say they go put in trees there for lady people that will carry the gods will carry income, sacrifice. All land they are just waste. Because people that they are who are hungry, they need food. The best sacrifice they offer to mankind, cook food, give them. That's a sacrifice. But putting food in the ground for who? Unless the birds come eat the food, but no human being will eat the food on the ground. So that's always all that's a backwardness. That's all backwardness. Okay, the second issue we want to light on again is concerning Ben Kafala. Make you go ahead and find the truth about what this man put forward. If at all you're really ready to do the job for Sierra Leoneans, make you find the job, find the truth. Make you find the truth and make sure they bring come to we the Sierra Leoneans the Mokushi. But if you cannot find the truth, I want this man to quit. Make it quick, because if your own government is not allowed, make you find the truth, there's no need for him to be there. You need to find a place else to go do his job. So that's all. I don't want to say much, so I'll call and get a chance to talk. So at least we'll throw light on these issues. Okay, that's all.
Thank you so much. Thank you, my brother. Thank you. Like we say again, this is not the voice of Sierra Leone. Next caller. Okay. Let we go, Mr. Shillon. I know say you be one talk on that issue there. A little bit before Professor bring this other traditional thing there, all the news back. Waiting you get for you read the gentleman where it talks say if Mr. Ben Kelfala in government not allow him for do the job, Mr. Ben Kelfala needs to quit. And I know say you be don't make a statement the other time say if them pull Mr. Ben Kelfala, who else is capable of doing that job? So waiting you respond to that.
Well, I think this is the problem. We have with Sierra Leone, they walk a tightrope. Let me say balancing act now. You know, it's not like if Ben Kelfala cannot do the job, then can just kick him aside and go replace him. No, not forget, say we don't get 3 ACC commissioners since the beginning. Ben, now the 3rd one. By all accounts, they say Ben now the most effective, the most efficient of the 3. And it may very well be because the office is growing in terms of stature and process. So maybe the other one, they may just begin for run a similar office. So Ben Kelfala had the profit from Denyun service with Ngi. But all I want people to be careful about, the solution of Sierra Leone's corruption is not going to be solved by one man. In fact, Parliament forbid a leader in solving corruption. And corruption would use them very loosely. I don't think CFC would use the word corruption in the proper sense if we are serious about eliminating corruption. Because the beginning point of corruption elimination is re-evaluation and reassessment, you know, of poverty guidelines. You know, what it takes the ordinary person to survive, what it takes a police officer, what it takes a judge, what it takes a magistrate, what it takes the low-level civil servant all the way up to permanent secretary. If we not make them reassessment, then we just pay people what we want. Even when they say the nutritionist for the president, they make money past the professor, God bless them. But if the professor in money within the pair not enough, when I mean enough, I don't mean enough by the professor in your own estimation or standard. I talk about national standard, what we for seriously put into effect. And this is an expensive venture, but it's heavy lifting. That's what it takes to do away with corruption. Parliamentarians should be paid adequately, because if you're a parliamentarian, people look up to you socially, politically, in many ways. It don't make sense for a parliamentarian nor for be able to afford a car. It don't make sense for a parliamentarian not for be able to live in decent housing. I mean, let's be realistic, okay? So what happens? A responsible government go get commissions just to look into these things and say, okay, you know what? The lowest civil servant should not be paid more than 5 million a month. The average teacher shouldn't make less than 2 million, 3 million a month. But if we just want things to take shape by themselves, it will never happen because governing is not easy. It takes a lot of foresight. It takes a lot of planning. It takes a lot of commitment. It takes a lot of sacrifice. And these are the qualities I do not see in our politicians. And it takes a lot of vision too. So if you pay the parliamentarian adequately, if you pay judges adequately, if you pay policemen adequately, if you pay low-level civil servant adequately, which will be very costly. It will be very costly. And we get the resources to provide the funding. No question about it. But when we pay these people adequately, then we can understand if somebody is corrupt, if a judge takes a bribe, not only should he be fired, he should be charged, he should be in prison. Because you're not getting excuse for that. If a police officer takes a bribe, the same thing should happen. And on and on and on and on. But, you know, we have to look at things from a humanitarian standpoint. You know, a man not going to be a teacher for 20 years, you pay him $2 million or less, that's about $200. And then 20 years, you don't even talk about retirement. You don't even talk about any fringe benefits. Then you say, oh, but this man not for take bribe. If school picking can get a little money on the corner for pass, there's no reason why no cook. That's asking too much of these people. It never used to be that way. Once upon a time when we were growing up, when the country even had less than it has now, people were well paid. People were paid enough for provide basic living. What happened to us? What happened is that we politicians they get greedy. They begin to divert the funds inappropriately. So we're not dealing with it. If we think, say, Ben Kelvala alone is going to solve that problem, I think we're not being realistic. Or if we think, say, so this thing about ACC, anti-corruption thing, I don't know that in creation that one day, but I don't see what good it does. The ACC is not going to be able to solve corruption because one deal with corruption, it's like we try to solve an illness, but we're not interested in knowing the cause of waiting at the illness. We're just busy. They solve what the people are sick. If they say people, then they come with belly out from one area of town. Now hospital all the time, and then they die from that. Does it make sense to just keep treating the people there? Oh, we have to know why people are from this area of town to get belly out? Is it not in the best interest for eradicate the cause of that? Maybe they drink contaminated water or contaminated food. The same applies to corruption. We are ignoring, we want to solve corruption from the top. But the system rotten all the way to the root. So we get for dig the soil, put appropriate fertilizer for encourage the plant for grow. So it's a tough job. And there is a lot to be learned. And then I address one other issue about corruption. It's easy. I've never been in government. I don't condone it. Corruption is awful. You know, that the sacrifice that they will need for me. But you'll be fooling yourself when you hang around some of these guys as politicians, like all the guys who were hanging out in England with the current president. It's one thing to complain about APC because they were on the outside. They didn't know how much money the APC had access to. But now that they're in, they say, oh, wow. That's what the money boku. No wonder. This is the way on turn. I can give you an example. Shaka Stevens once upon a time said that. He sit down one time, and this is true story. I gave me source. He sit down when the power don't get to him. He said to himself, he said to people sitting around him, and people then go verify that. He said, wow, Albert is Sidonte with this kind of power. We pull on a power with all this power we get. Now, maybe they oppose Alberto, but you know how powerful that position they be. When he come in, when he see the power, he was determined that as long as me a president, nobody will pull me there. And the same thing with this corruption. These guys, they come in, they see the access they have to the country's wealth. They see the access they have to powerful people around the world, billionaires and millionaires and countries like the United States. How much they can make them rich instantly. Principle goes on the wayside. That's the problem. So until we go get strong-willed people them, we understand the way the game is played. So when they get into the game, they can withstand the pressure, will not get a future. That's it. That's all I got to say.
So let we take another caller. Let we give it to you. They say, please, caller, good evening. What's your name? And also where you call we from?
Yeah, hello. Mina German at the call from Turkey.
Okay, man.
Yeah, I want to make clarification on Ben Kefala issue regarding we gonna bonds. Ben Kefala no be gonna bonds with the president together. That's one. It is on a tour. If we go Moamba for Moamba, he go bond. Next week he go there fall by the streets. So you know ever they bond together with the president. So let me that
thank
clear.
you for that. Thank you for that clarification. Thank you.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. Not protected.
Go ahead, yes,
yeah.
Protected.
Then secondly,
you're safe.
There are many trending. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Mad.
Okay.
Go ahead.
There are many trending topics this week who I believe so for discussion. We at least we don't touch on most of the most importantly not just the concluded by election na Kaila and not soon I talk anything on that issue there. We peace you lost fully. So
thank you for
do analysis on that results there.
Okay, thank you for putting out there the so you can read the result for we since you know because I not get her in front of me now, but you can read the result for
okay
know exactly
the results were provision results were net pull out according to net press release. The Ali John of APC get 525 votes, which consists of 8.0%. Brahma Zainab Kamara of SLPP get 4,823 votes, which consists of 71.0%.
Okay.
Then the independent candidate Engala Ibrahim Sylvester Jusu get 1,425 votes, which consists of 21.0%. So my question is, APC, they all over the social media say that they can't apart 2023, but they are not making any inroads in SLBB strongholds. Why SLBB continue to make inroads at the strongholds? How this kind of power go possible? So let's analyze that.
We go ask the APC. We go bring what APC come. We go ask them how they see the road to 2023 because me not a politician, so I don't know how they go win.
You're not a politician, but you can discuss political issue there.
Yes,
because it's only program. Then finally, on Jibri Bangwa link audio, I don't know if you listen now. You be listening that audio there because I know all of the trending topic where Jibri Bangwa they threaten on the audio say if you APC kind of power They go make sure say they eliminate all men, they man. And the Gibangua is a prominent APC spokesman. One day APC not come out publicly and condemn Jibri Bangua. Now one of the most vocal posts in our social media will always the preach tribalism. We're not good for even the APC and the people of Sierra Leone. You making such statements is irresponsible, and we expect the APC to come out and condemn that.
Okay, your time done. It don't pass 3 minutes. They don't give you small more time. The buzzer don't go off. But it's a point that you make. But we'll find APC people. We go ask the then question and they because it's a question we'll get for us because this social media don't become so dangerous. That's why we have to be careful what we do and what we say because everything we say, somebody they record you, somebody they know, somebody they all kind of thing. I am not. We have another caller. Let me take the caller then. We will go back to Professor. Make it continue for Kerango. Say one Kerango. Caller. Good evening. What's your name, please? And where they call you from?
Yeah, me name now for you. I they call from Algeria.
Okay, Miss my brother. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, yes, ma. And in relation this political tribulation where they go on our country, first of all, if we look at the statement and all the videos there where I think say the president of the first lady where he be done get out to the people them as how he happened to say journalists Fofana go meet him and ask him in relation the money scandals where we say he don't get from the office. And we get to know say the first lady if we don't take a money from the consolidated fund where unknowingly to the parliament and he come out and again say he get right in order for let me say he take money from the consolidated fund. And then we get a lot of citizens out there when Cherno Bar they come out there with a lot of evidence. Some partisans they come out there and defend these people. So it's like we the citizens or we the youth of that country, we not really want for defend. We don't really want for defend we own fundamental human rights of we the masses that we suffer in that country. I mean a young man and 1,000 and millions of youth there within that country they we be say of all waiting if we say the president don't come na power for many years. We don't see anything else if you say this president don't do for we. Not of hatred, I they say so. And then they talk of hatred because we know say as the past government also in a APC, they be don't do a wrong thing during the time of era where they be the rule we. But we take a look of this particular present government who gets now this country. Believe me, my sister, wallahi, this government will not say anything we don't do for the people in the country. Not with anger they talk so. Look at SEC, who thinks in an independent body. We say it's supposed for inquire, for ask the first lady, for investigate of all the evidence that we go that they put out there. It defend this particular first lady, which is very wrong. He said you want to go back to the past government, which is not correct. If you say they go to the past government, then let it go back into the 1961. If you say yes, people and they will be on the uniform, then they ready for go pull the first lady in a graveyard. In order for them, you can ask them back. They reach to the first lady. So we just understand say these people then come in power for let them come suffer the people in the country. And we not happy in that country there. We not really happy. We the youth there in that country, we not happy. Now if some of who they talk so some of who they tell we say let me go find work for you. Where the work where they don't provide for the youth them for let them we not get better electricity. No light, no road network. How we want for them to be proud of the country salon. Where some of who they inside Africa country we left because of the kinds of finance who left with the country. The kinds of finance who I'm 25 years old where they talk with anger so. 25 years old, I take the journey for like this desert because as I say there is no way for me country. Where if the government don't provide job for me. Somebody go ask me, who so ko land? Alan work, but there is no way. Why the government they put on a lot of issues the way I say a lot of youth they out their way, then they misuse them, then they feed on drugs because of why
So I said, oh God, this caller where they call from Algeria, no be one hang up I want to ask her a question. If he can call back the young 25-year-old guy from Algeria, I just want to ask a few questions with him. Please call us back. May make her ask because he took the journey for a better life, for hope, into greener pastures, as people then believe say any side better pass who side and come out. But we go can to that caller they back in, but no take another caller, please. Caller, good evening. What's your name and who side they call we from?
Hello. Oh, okay.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah.
Call.
Good evening. How's everything? This is SALONE. I have call from Sierra Leone Academy. And this is a part of SALONE.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Thank you so much for the program. Today back, I don't follow up now on this particular program when a very sensitive, educative program. I saw like I make a monitor now. In the first place, me, Ben Kefala, in association with the president or for going a party or whatever you call them, to me, this is my opinion. To me, I don't say it as an issue. What is important here is Ben Kefala they deliver. The question is yes. If Ben Kefala they prosecute the current administration, people who they are the current administration they prosecute them, the question is yes. So now that's important. But when the president invite her, don't forget say are the fourth gentleman of this country. So if he invites her, go, they no matter. But what is important, if Ben Kefala deliver and they prosecute the present regime, that is yes. So now that more of a graduate. Going further, I'm not saying don't get accolade but come across the world. The Afrobarometer, Transparency International, the American Saloka side, which is good. So I hope we pray will continue in that direction. Now coming to China Bad. To me, China Bad not produce any substantial evidence set. Now, at the top of the MDs there, they are Ministry Department agency. They run out with money. They say they withdraw money. They show the discrepancies. Now that area get problem. Then they show the discrepancies. Of course, they show receipts and they withdraw money. But what's the discrepancy? They don't show. Now, coming like for example, the procurement officer. These days are raised concern. If issues are raised about the procurement, if concerns are raised about procurement, then which is questionable. Everybody go give your opinion on that. But the expert, the authoritative opinion that the head of the procurement or people there when they work in that institution. If Brahma Story, where the head of the procurement, it can't clear the air. Say the chief minister go through procurement or so blah 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 do. Who not go believe now? Anything a court of law, not only the head of procurement or people there when they want that procurement office and get for call on the court of law. Not to know other policy. If they raise concerns about it, we had issues. And which way questionable. The only people who go for can give that area, now the people that they work at the health ministry on that particular station, you can't talk about that. Each and every one we support will give you opinion on that. But whosoever, without the responsible going for a particular authority opinion, now the people that will look at that station. So if Brahma Sorry can tell you, say, Chief Minister also one for questioner. They say not to vote Brahma Sorry for 20 for be true. Then what I go talk, what go believe. This is my problem I have with people. And not me say whatever channel about they talk for celebrator. No, when they produce substantial evidence. Those evidence are not substantial. Even the court of law is not substantial. Now that's what people they say. Of course, with the teller take it, they hit the new direction in that move, and that's the ginger up there. But to me, make sure for substantial evidence, so blah blah blah. They show the discrepancies. As far as I know, those MDS they run out with money and they go for withdraw money. So for saying that they withdraw this money, to me no matter because they go for withdraw money, they go for user. But when you show the discrepancies, when they withdraw this money, so to the pair. Now that's my one. Thank you so much for the program.
Well, thank you. We get a lawyer now. We go ask. We say you need substantial evidence. Then can withdraw money and all. And Mr. Ibrahim Soare, we don't talk say Igi authority, but then Mr. Ibrahim Soare say most of it. He say 90%. What about the 10%? Where you know no but. So that's why we cannot just throw away this and dismiss them. We get for go to the bottom of it. That's why we have the anti-corruption. That's why we have with Parliament, and we expect them for do to go so that we go able to go before. Because like I said before, the president they do tin them on the side where because that hospital where they make that palm kernel factory where they make we go bring a big improvement for the lives of the people of Sierra Leone. We they miss all that day because we people the way they run we right now, then therefore come and address the issue. Let the parliament come out, the SEC they pay, let the parliament self come out, let the people go to another caller. And I know say another caller they want for putting your opinion and talk about this. Go ahead, please, caller.
Hello, I'm in a concerned citizen from UK.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
I don't know the line if the echo. Okay, I just want to throw a light regarding the health issue because I just concerned about human capital. When you talk of human capital, you talk about well body and good food. So I just want to throw a light on the fish shortage in SALONE in Charles. From what me know, I'm not too detailed. If you realize the sea, they get mangroves. The mangroves, now what is it they call sea? I they call them fish beds. That's the right word. What is that fish bed there? Now the fish then they go reproduce, lay their eggs because the water current it is slow down towards that area of the mangroves. So, but looking at the depletion and the removal of the mangroves because of people in the encroach the land, try for building, that is one of the factors when you look at from a marine agricultural basis, what it calls the shortage of fish. And also, you talk about those pirating in the sea. I believe say one time in the way Kijakababi do a project somewhere at the outskirts of the city near the Watayanda, where they try to make some mangroves for them be able to get them more where the fish can go come reproduce. But that nine government they try to look into what expecting that would make a very good effective development in terms of the mangroves, how they were able to rehabilitate that area, even though it's not easy. When you look at Gambia, the reason why they don't fish Kimboku, if you look at the way they did at the Atlantic, Gambia, the river, they run inside like a line through the country. So the currents they look a bit slow down that area there. When you look at the fish, it's very big because then they get size for what they call this fish bed what they talk about. So that's why the one the government tries to look how they will able to help that marine day. And then the final one before they go now regarding the vaccine. Me as an ambassador here for in courtesy of the NACOVAC, I'm not a politician, me I just like well body in SALONE. I just want to show say I know they approve the Sinopharm. One of the vaccine we don't care in SALONE. But only thing on my way WHO been get a question regarding the data system what they been do and the phase 3. Because the phase 3 trial, they been therefore go down in Mexico instead of them people them. But they not been disclosed this information with WHO. But the efficacy that in other words the usefulness of i.e. powerful or good, it was more than 50% with the approval. But because of the demand and the candidates were too many trying to get a vaccine, so them and Moderna and Pfizer, now they be one of the first one they will be AstraZeneca who will produce the vaccine. So the only thing why they encourage people it is not anything to do with that conspiracy theory or whatever. Then they talk about the vaccine. Here now, then they only try to look about efficacy and the shelf life. What's like the shelf life? Like the life when you begin at the shelf instead of the cold chain. Yeah. So there is a lot of development where they go on, but they encourage people then. I know they say that first they forgot to take the vaccine, but as that man they suggest say let people in the role model for come out and take the vaccine and then go follow. Because last year some of the Chinese people that we did it in SALONE, then get about a percentage when they take from that vaccine for give them, that was some amount. So we wait for see that one day. But in terms of efficacy, the effectiveness, the vaccine is good. Just for before I go again, I just want to enlighten how these vaccines are actually being done. Because you go down say why they make vaccine quick this short term here. Why they not make TB? But the reason why, in the practical way, what we will help for let people understand, just like when you get lapa, you don't get the lapa, you already in the shop. Then the person can't see a one close. So that the sports in shape, if he height tall, he height short, now that la part when you don't get, they use. In other words, what are they trying for say? The reason why they shortened the production of the vaccine because they had already a material which is cutting edge based on the other research we don't do from the mass and the SARS, which are the same corona family of the virus. So now that one they use. So now it looks shorter based on the investment where all the country they do. But Salone, I believe that they can't get the other one when the COVAX brand. The COVAX donation. The COVAX donation from WHO when the AstraZeneca, where Boris Johnson don't try to give money towards that. So the one where they produce now India. Now the same AstraZeneca farm, but they get another big bill in India. Now part of that one they go begin to give. But the production of the vaccine is three things now: the capability, and then the amount of production, and then the trial phases. Because when they cook for our job, not so like when they cook for people and also not three people, they get from their big pots. So the reason now one day the world they set hard for produce this kind of things. So I will leave you now and let God continue for help you all, and I thank you all for what you do. Let God continue for bless you all. Thank you very much, sir.
That's a very, thank you, very informative, very detailed, very somebody where say they, what you they talk about. I mean, but still, we get doubts with people they're not a guinea pig. Like I say, they not get data, they not show them data because Chinese them back then go underground just like how the other one they do. So we get for be very, very cautious, and we want to lead at them. For let them lead. If you lead the way you take a nut, do you then so them go give picking them bad batch of polio. After we all age we small one there where they after we but who get 1 foot, then they jump with bad vaccination batch of polio. So let we go to another caller. Professor, I know saying are you there in charge today? You don't silent for a while. You want to take another caller quick before you come back?
Where they take her?
Okay, so caller, good evening. What's your name and who's you call from? Hello, caller. Can you hear us, please? What's your name and who's you call from? This caller will get problem with maybe you go get for call back because they get problem with the line. Professor Oteko, I think the person not the will get problem.
Thank you. Waiting I want actually lead off on that the role of the youth in with society, how they see themselves, and waiting actually then think about themselves. In any society, we the Africa or wherever, the youth them they always consider them for be the leaders of tomorrow, not the leaders them. So how the people that they become the leaders of tomorrow? First of all, then they objectify themselves with the breastplate of integrity, the sword of service, and selflessness, and all that thing. Meaning that they therefore put themselves in the position where tomorrow, regardless of which happen, they go to. But this not happen. The youth them, I can tell you for sure, part of the problem same way that they go through is self-inflicted. How? They don't make themselves available to the politicians. They don't make the politicians they know say they always prepare for act as the guinea pig, for do they work for them, for just thing where they will not want. But these politicians they your family members are never there for put themselves in. More if we talk about this quality education also. I mean, in as much as the government don't make an flag what they call it, I can tell you any degree of certainty, I get the evidence, but because of I call them confidentiality, a good number of them people always say they help the president for a prosecuting education program. They picking another in a salon. I don't go say I don't even get evidence. Like when me they talk, so I get the evidence of people that were inside this government here when they begin in Dana oversee, I get the ID step of this of side they not send all the IDs to me. Again, I pull no more than it. So waiting we try for told that the youth them say it's not only enough for complaint. It comes to a time you say no. If the people they call now say because this now on both parties, both major parties, not to just an APC issue, or what they call it, both of them will not pull in. When they say, "Lord, go do this, Lord, go do that," the first question we ask, "How about you? Where young people them? Where them? If they're not there for join now for Lord, go do this." Common sense for say, "Oh no, not do them," because at the end of the day, who that go up now they suffer, they family all they oversee, and they eat good, then they sleep good, then they do all things. But you day yonder. So now also begin for hold the youth them responsible also. Yeah, we sympathize with the plight, but it comes to a time we for also hold them a bit accountable because they get the cognitive intelligence or ability for say no, or say no. We all not to all go grammar school, not to all go Cambridge, not to all go Oxford, but by and large, I think say we can do something that we go save help we save. For example, one thing I go commend Dr. Roland Touré for. Dr. Roland Touré get everything for make like inside go be parliamentarian or let go be minister or let go be ambassador. He not do that. What he do? He go to the village. You know if he go to McKinney town itself, not today he go. He go to the outskirts of McKinney, now they go. The village there. He go create what you call life opportunities for people there. Youth them where they waka where no they do nothing. It don't mold them. Then they build houses there for people there. And I don't see them. They build houses there. He is involved in agriculture. He is involved in tourism. He is involved in education. He is involved in everything. So the youth says, when the people are come, they told that okay, fine. They people are not get all their money here. When they not get. None of them you see they not invest in anything. What you go see that the sumptuous palaces and I go see. Why sooner than a street, the street they bang una, the sand they bang una, then lead on and castle them with air condition, they blow them. Then they eat good thing. So today I want I want to bring Mr. Shilo in for let's see how we will argue the case. The youth says that them also they give paradoxical comfort and solace to this where they not dehumanize them, they not take the humanity away. So that's why I look at Mr. Shino. I don't know how you pick him up there. We lead a broadcaster instead pick him up. So not true. We have money and see.
Mr. Shilon, go for sir. Can you? We're not hear you.
They're checking audio and see.
Okay, I'm
Check
sorry.
your
Another.
Okay.
Now when I hear me now,
Yes,
not so. Okay.
Yeah, we hear
I'm
you.
sorry. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me go back to we ardent, dedicated listener from Kenema. I always appreciate him view. I appreciate him participation. But I just want to shed a little light on some of the observations with respect to Mr. Chernobyl accusation and the lack of sufficiency of evidence and the authority of Mr. Soiree for being the so. Two things I can suggest in this situation. What is good for the goose is good for the gander. If you make an objective analysis, and if you, if you're asking yourself, the gentleman for asking himself, if the tables were turned, now APC be there in power, then the behave so, will that be all right with him? If he feels so, then that's as objective as you can get. What concerns me, which shifts people away from being put in Sierra Leone force, is when we begin to differentiate who is making the accusation and who is being accused. So if you see, say, and by no stretch am I saying that's what the gentleman is saying, but I hope that's not influence in judgment. If he feels, say, because of which party Mr. Soiree belongs to, that make him feel say, oh, any to Mr. Soare, because this gentleman say Mr. Soare not the sole authority. No, he's not the sole authority. He is the man in charge. Mr. Soare, like I say, I keep praising him for having the courage to come forward based upon the extent to which the rules or the laws support him. He explained. And he confirmed, say there is a waiver provision, for exempt certain aspects for financial disposition or expenditure. So that's a loophole when they put in the law. And that's what they've been going under. So you ask, because don't forget, Mr. Soare, the chief minister, they all work for the same government. They're on the same team. Okay, it's not like Mr. Soare in office and an independent office from that of the rest of these guys. They can be fired, I believe, at any time. So Mr. Soare say, then no other than interpret the regulations. He may be right. But that doesn't mean the way the regulation is written cannot be challenged, cannot be misinterpreted by Mr. Soare himself. There is nothing that says because he heads the department, he's not the author of the regulation. So he can't say in the sole authority on the interpretation of what the regulation is. But the problem with that regulation, whether he has the power, whether he has the best understanding, and whether he is the most efficient person, the reality is there's a loophole. There's a big loophole that gives him that power. Now, one way you can shut that loophole by saying, if you grant such request to exempt anyone without giving any explanation, then you, Mr. Soare, should also put on the record the reason why you granted the exemption, why you waive the requirement of explaining what the money is to be used for, But apparently there is no, so he doesn't have to give a reason. They doesn't get the authority to say you can exempt whoever you feel to your discretion. So I think now one of the problems is, so the criticism of Mr. Soare by Mr. Ba, these people should Mr. Ba get a role. You see, this is the other thing about government. He's a journalist. His job is to question things that appear to be improper. Then your job down there. So nobody should be upset with the man, because if we don't have the chain of bars, the system not going to run well. I mean, it's just like when you get a motor car, everything if a walk in sync with each other. The transmission of the motor car, the engine of the motor car, the tires, the suspenders, the suspension and everything all have to work in cohesion for the motor car to run smooth. So when they try to get upset with a journalist who would in good intention, they ask questions them that he considered to be legitimate, the smallness or largeness of the amount of money shouldn't matter. Is the principle that's at stake here. So, and Mr. Ba get a history of raising these questions even with previous government. So I don't even understand what the force is about. Now, this thing about sufficiency of evidence. Now, what did Mr. Ba bring is what you call prima facie evidence. That is, you just get enough evidence. This happens in a court of law all the time, which a person is seen running with a dagger, for example, with blood dripping off the dagger that is running away with, and is being chased. Then somebody say, why not chase the then just stab somebody, and I would think saying that this man will get his dagger, blood dripping out of, and somebody is down the road stabbed from the direction where the stabbing take place. So we think saying that this man, I make it a run. Is it reasonable for the people to chase him, to want to arrest him? Yes. Do they have sufficient evidence to convict him of murder? No. But do they have preliminary evidence to reasonably believe that he may have been the one who stabbed the person. That's why he's running. Yes. So what Mr. Ba has done here, he raised produced prima facie evidence that corruption is taking place. It's not his duty to prove, that that a crime has been committed. It don't raise a reasonable basis. It don't raise what you would call reasonable and articulable suspicion that a crime or impropriety is being committed. So we understand the difference. So when you say we don't get sufficient evidence, you don't need sufficient evidence. You just need credible evidence that can be based on reason. The evidence, as we listen now, say may not be sufficient if this man were to be, if chief minister were to be charged with something, they may not have sufficient evidence to convict him of anything. But the sufficiency of the evidence is premature. The requirement of sufficiency of evidence is very premature at this point. That is not even an issue. And because Mr. Soare himself has admitted it, that he waived the amount. And did not require the minister who appropriates the funding for the first lady in office for give an explanation as to what he wanted it for. So that case is just, rest on his own facts. But sometimes when they raise the issue here, I want to let people look beyond who is raising the issue. This is all being viewed in the national interest. So nothing say, well, me own person to do wrong. Nothing wrong with that. Now, when the other side to do wrong, there is something wrong with it. If we look at SALONE with it, we will never go forward. If now your brother in a position and they take bribe, you can still support them for say bribe, for take that in there, but you can't go out there defending and say, well, I'm your brother, he get right for take bribe. No. So we therefore begin look at SALONE in the interest of SALONE, not the party where they run the country, not the tribe, not the district where the person come out. If we look at it that way, I think we would do we save a huge favor. What was the last issue, Miss Fadima?
The youth.
The youth, the young one.
The things with youth, I've always been, my position has always been, we were once youths too. When you get the infrastructure, we will keep youths them focused and give them something for hope for. They will not go astray. They will not fall for all the temptations. The whole politicians, they can misuse them. So to me, even when youths then go off course, you blame them parents who still could remain guiding them and tell them, say, not to so I raise you, you're not going to business. I'll give you a good example. The reason why I end up, or me and my brother and sister, that we end up at Kalang district to Daddy where we do business there. When Papa left we na Freetown, he was concerned about many things when he go apply. One of the things was he say, want for the dance be endable. Hunting. The tenant will get Remy, will get Deca, will get picking. You fascinated by the hunting day. Papa say it wasn't too that was one thing, because if you say that show you the land, remand habits, then next thing you know, school not important to you. The other thing that they be concerned about was for go swim, because we come out Aberdeen and it's surrounded by water. Because for the upline, it gets news about drowning. So he was always concerned about that. So what happened? The first time I tell I didn't Waterloo Street, Takoradi Corner, by Bay. The first time he heard me say, hey, they not see me in 24 hours. They go 48 hours. When you see Camp Freetown, he just whisk me, my brother, and everybody take go home. He say, because this is what I was worried about. Now, let's assume say my papa no be come take me there. So tell them for be a lawyer today. So tell me for follow some remand, go broke bottle, stab somebody because I want follow market or somebody, as So parents then get a duty. They get a duty for guide their young one there, because the infrastructure, the social structure is not too helpful. We not get boys, we not get boys club. They can't get the girls club or then social safety net there. Everything is left with the family. We not the fund denting and they for no say picking, picking and can step up. And then when some picking some about them bad, they're not that bad, they say, oh, go throw in a dems. Because it's stubborn, because it's argumentative, because the study. So we do always look for quick fix. Go, like what we say, go get the devil food for eat so more fish will come. We not to put your mind into really taking responsibility and trying for create or solve problem and look at the root cause. So I feel compassion, I feel empathy, I feel sympathy for the youth them, because for a lot of we turn out to be what we will be today, but for the grace of God, we could have been those youths, So we owe it to them, and it's cruel of politicians. Now, I got to give the First Lady a little credit. The last in a Freetown, wherever, she had a video where he addressed the issue. They say, no make anybody can take one for go cause any trouble. Now, you got, it's dues. So where the First Lady is right, we should give her credit, because that is not the secret. She was there addressing a group of people, telling parents and telling Pekin and say, then no politician can influence you wrongly. I mean, they can influence your mind and try to tell you which they can provide for you and see if you're old enough for go vote, fine. But not to go cause trouble and end up in prison. We need more of them in the churches. We need more of their advocacy in the mosque. We need more now with community, now with neighborhood. So the adults them, we can't left everything to government. A lot of them burglary, robbery, how they take place. Now youth, they're not gonna have to do. They are of age. They don't begin get girlfriend, boyfriend. You pregnant a girl, you get picking. Now you get picking for feed, that woman they put pressure on you. It go broke somebody else. I can tell you that. So it's not the politician. The ramifications are wide ranging than we're thinking about. So they make them ministers, yeah. Like I keep saying, it takes more than PhD. You take a lot of understanding and commitment. Without that, we are not going to help the youth them. It's too bad, and it's unfortunate that youths are involved in all the kind of serious criminalities there, and they're being misused. And what are you going to do? If you come up from a home where you prepare a watchman, now there you grow up, or you prepare a motor apprentice, or you prepare just a tailor, a poor tailor, which a vast majority of our brothers, then where they run government today, now the background and they are to describe. Now that things are good for them, they are trying to look out for the Pekinese where they grew up in the same environment they grew up. So then some minister come, you don't go for a whole year. One day, $20 at one time. A minister can give $200, say for go cause trouble. Now, where are we going to get that courage or conviction? What conviction are you going to have not to do what he wants you to do?
Survival, yeah.
So then you get small baby where doctors say need Lucozade, you not get even 1,000 leon for buy Lucozade. Then all of a sudden you get 200, you get 2 million leon. That minister there has made your day, has made your future for a few weeks or months. This is the bad part. So we have to look at from all angles. It's a pity. But so the problem lies with we should talk about these things like I'm talking about it. If I were a preacher, I would talk about it in church. If I were a chief, I would raise it in the community. If we don't do that, they were fooling ourselves, because problem not to solve themselves. Now, much man to solve problem. So we need people with foresight, with vision, with sympathy, with empathy, with compassion. We'll go help you. All this thing about minister of youth. What does that mean? It means nothing. It's like you say minister of adults. I mean, youths are human beings. So you don't need a ministry for youth. You need ministry of things that would provide job and education. That's the key.
Yeah. Like we say again, the blockage is in our minds. The blockage is in our minds. But Mr. Juan, if you can allow me, I can
Oh
only
yes.
one
Oh
few
yes, man.
sentence,
Go
but
ahead.
then and the
Go ahead.
responsibility in the end ends with the individual. The responsibility is with the individual. As long as you are of age, the responsibility. But then we have been conditioned, and for unplug we from what you don't learn. It just start like if you dey try for pull something at the wall, if you not hold them the right way, electric it go shock you if you not get all the right stuff them. And these people, it's all they have known. They are the lost generation, because when we been they grow up, people can say what they talk all the time, but today. But when we women they grow up, I always said there was the middle class, the safety net. People had jobs, people had things. The one that were not able with the one that were they up the F for draw, the one that were they down car up, up them picking them. Once upon a time, it took a village to raise a child in Sierra Leone. Neighbor they watch out for who crazy, who dare you. Who born you for beginning make goodness? You mama and paddy, you neighbor, you passing down the road. If they deal with you the way you cannot also back you mama deal with you other one. You don't get in trouble. But now, because the situation, the economical situation from after that war, the PTSD, all the trauma of the child soldier, of watching violence, the Pekin then grow up, a lot of them grow up for themselves. Mama don't die. When they're born Pekin, what are they going to pass on to their children? They don't have much to pass on to their children. Where it comes to doing right or wrong is survival. And that's why they're out there. That's why they need to build things them where for begin teach, even the adults begin teach them, because now then they raise them picking, and then now the youth them, then they get picking, then they have sex, then they born picking, and then they multiply, and the cycle continue, of broken homes, of all their other bad trick them, because there's no hope for these people. And if they can't give them, then build attire base. What are in those attire bases that they building? Only when they want for use them for go make violence, then fight you against me, us against them. And that is the ideology and the mentality. So the fight is in the mind. How can we clear this mind? And the little one that when they grow up, we get for catch them early, because if not, the cycle's still gonna continue. Somebody writes on here, I think Salone first. He make one point. He said the Europeans, where you go out of code, then they draw themselves inside. The Chinese and the Asians, then they draw themselves inside. But then the black people, the black race, it's like we are doomed. Why everything for be bad? Why should we have the bottom of the barrel? Why we Africans, us black people, have to fight against one another? We're not able to make somebody. Look at this young guy. I want to ask a question. Say he go on the journey, 24 years old. Young guy, he had to leave his country. When me left my country at my age, while I left Sierra Leone, I did not leave to what they call a fly on a plane. My 1985 me ticket me cost $8,000, 8,000 leones. When I flew on a plane to come to America, but they had to take the journey because the country leader had neglected social issues. And we say we get quality education. President Biyo cannot fix it, but he put them before. But then the quality education, the things are broken. There's so much to do, so much. And people then, the one that don't learn the book, then they come out to nothing, no hope. One Miss Small cousin, he make a song. He say, you support get soap. Now he make you say the party walk. They have done everything their society asked them of, but there are no jobs. They only put Uda and Sabi, they job them, not the people that have the merit to do it. He say, you support get soap. Now I make you say the party walk. Because everything is right for you. But what about your brother? Are you not your brother's keeper? Are we not our brother and sisters' keepers? That is the question we for such we saw. Because we want a society where they thrive. We want a society where they compete with the world. Let us pull ourselves up. Let we search with them until we heal ourselves, until we heal from the pain, from the neglect, from the abuse, from everything and the mind that they have taught us that we inferior. We there force. We there force. And the one day where then they go pantap, the one day where then they go say, then they go lead. Let them do the work for heal the people and for bring the people together and provide things them. For let the people be able for thrive and become the best. Salon people then they don't become lazy. Not to be lazy people, them they hardworking people. They get their dignity in labor. With the Canadian country, you see with Salon people that they work, that they make them. Even the one that will not be go better school, that they come, they educate themselves, they learn, they make them because the system is set for let it work. It's not perfect, but it's better than Usha we come out. A young guy, 24 years old, if they go to other African country for go fend in living, then that is small way they get. It must get in my mind, Papa, behind where they take care of. Where how long will they pan this? How long will people suffer? How long? We want a better Sierra Leone. Better place. When we came to America, we didn't come to stay. We came for get education and go back. We did not come with green card. Una where they come now, they come with papers. The people that come now, because of the war, because of the stuff, they open, they make programs, they come with papers. And then we still get the same one that when we don't dip our war, when they kind of ask some, now they do better with their life. They don't do better because it's the mind. The mind, when the mind is entangled, when the mind, the battle, the blockage of our growth is in our mind. Until you see it, until you can see it and believe it and understand it, we dey force. And then they are for say right now. But this is sad because we people them, they don't have no hope. Attire base, what in their attire base? What in their attire base? Whose growth they come out of there? First they go keep comping, then tell themselves one person pass, he give them small thing, then boil, they eat, they make and now them brotherhood, now their livelihood. But why are they using our people? Why are they using our young people? Why are they using? You know, like how Professor Kutubu said, the children are having the best of life. And yet you cannot change, bring a change, walk towards a change. That's what we should be asking for. That's what we need for we people them. But now let we search ourselves. Will you want to be like that? If now you been there, they are you the feel. That was what Rollins said. That's what Rollins did. And it moved Ghana to the direction of where they did today. Now one of the pioneers in that, it moved Ghana. He said, I looked, I was flying up my plane and I see and I asked myself the question, why should people live like this? Inhumane, indecent, slums, dirty. Some people forget one food for eating, tranga. Why? Why? It is all in the mind. We get for walk with we mind. We get for free with mind. If not, the black race is doomed everywhere. Even here all day, the black people, we contribute to the economy. But what do? We don't grow wealth. We buy from the white man. Because it's things we think that make we things. So everybody within a pala, I want things. Look at my house. Look at the car I drive. Look at in an economy as Sierra Leone. Why do we need the previous administration? They had so many cars where they don't buy. What did they do with them? This administration, okay, I send a Guinea, then fly all go. No accountability for nothing. Now this one we don't care. They don't buy Prada. They don't buy the. Why do we need Prados? Why we not go buy a cheaper vehicle? Why? Then Prado, then they back where they come. We don't know if they go care and go like how the other one. They don't care all thing go. Ou they parade de raou, they pass like sheep, they will not get it, goats, they will not get it, cow, they will not get it, cow will not get tail. How long God go to grab we fly? How long? Now then at the question on the first one, I said, what do you want? What do you want for yourself and for your people? What do you want? It's okay to ask government question. Nothing wrong with government. Government for be able to tolerate and make town meetings. Like say, this is what the thing. Answer open question, not a party no more. Let people be able to ask questions. Let's say, okay, we go deal with this, we go solve this. It should be a free society. This is human. Now, world, now God give we all this right. We all have a right. We all have a right in this world. We all have a right. But the strong go take advantage of the weak. And as I say again, the weak, the good farmer will get for weed out the bad one, then come on inside there, follow with plants go. If not, they will suffocate you. I pass them back to you, Professor. How long?
Well, thank you so much. We get about 10 minutes for wrap up. Not so again, make your program. So I want to hear Mr. Shilong, you know, between because of 5:43 now, we did for in by 6. I want to hear Mr. Shilong, that half minute we don't left. No, not just, you know, wrap up with something where we want left we people them with 1 or 2. When I do that.
Okay. let me touch on a couple of things where I've been left out. The gentleman who called from Kenema, he make the observation, say, he not see anything wrong with the ACC commissioner attending or responding positively to the invitation of the president. Yeah, that's an option the ACC commissioner can exercise. My own point was, I compared the ACC commissioner to the position of a judge. Where you're not judge, you always try to give the appearance of independence, freedom, of undue influence. So the ACC commissioner knows that. Well, first of all, let's set the record straight. The gentleman called and said the ACC was not in bond at the invitation of the president. So that point is well taken. So we understand that. So immediately to talk about the issue of when the gentleman from Kenema said the ACC commissioner say anything wrong. We are saying the ACC commissioner knows say the position we hold now for investigate a lot of the president in people them. Sometimes even the president your activity. So it just not look good for the go functions where the president hold. That's what we were saying. Now it may not be that he in fact was invited there, but we say if that was the case, that we now support that. The other thing, another caller asked you about the video or audio of a Jibril Bangura. Which I haven't seen, but in comment was this gentleman had issued threats that if they ever kind of power, that they go eliminate. The implication of that means killing people. Well, anybody with any sense doesn't talk like that. Even if now you intentional, let alone what, I mean, so this gentleman say APC not even condemn that. Well, first of all, now, why you don't bring it to their attention because they may say they know one day you hear the tape like we. This is not hear the tape one day. I don't think anybody in this panel hear that tape. But if it is true that there's such a tape or video or audio or tape going around, okay, it is important that since this Jibril Bangura, they claim some connection to APC, for them for divorce themselves from him and say they not agree with him, they not support that, and because they advocate what you call genocide in the international language for eradicate a group of people for no reason other than who they are. So no party need them kind of an evil person there, even as so he say. And if there is such a person called Jibril Bangura. So then 2 points in there, because since the response or the elaboration.
Mr. Shilon, there is a person called Jibril Bangura, and I don't even listen to him because what you do, I mean, I don't like his style of conversation, so I don't listen to it. It's a choice that I don't do because this is the man that we're at the top again. To me naked, he puts me all over, but I didn't care. I don't care,
Well, so but that speaks volume. This tells you it's a man of emotional and mental problem.
Yeah.
So
go ahead. There is a
that's fine. So we don't attach much significance to somebody like that.
No,
when you do that, and
I don't.
So I remember saying we talk about a level-headed person, but no, I mean, you always have those kind of people. Where like America will get the Proud Boys who then figure say, then for go around and kill all black men and do all kind of nonsense. Decent people don't subscribe to that. So we get we own Proud Boys them back home where they talk rubbish. So that's all I got to say, Professor. On this
Mr. Adima, why you say not go use these 2-3 minutes? You give your impression about what not go on and where we go from here for meetup and the 60th anniversary.
We country, SALONE, a beautiful country in a beautiful place. enriched with all kind of natural resources. We brought a call from London. We talk on the marine, kind of thing. Where then they talk on the fish bed. There, where they go outside the thing, then they can't lay the egg. Now, one of the things that they say back about global warming. We country them get Minister of Lands and Mine, Minister of Country Planning and Development, where maybe they go up. I don't know how they call her now, but then get them ministry. Then the thing get plan. We been get plan. Who sign up for grow? Who sign for grow? Who sign up for court? Who sign up for bill? Who sign up for leave? Now for make a natural resources. But from where the scramble for Freetown come, because I can say Freetown are the Americas of Sierra Leone. Okay, from where the scramble come after that war, where people then come, when the lawlessness begin, where the people they do their job, where we they pay for do their job, they don't neglect, they don't allow a lot of things for go wrong. This administration, in fairness to them, they're not going to able to do all things, they're not going to able to clean all things, whatever. But we expect them for do because now the manifesto way is sent, we cannot continue with excuses. We have to hold them responsible. But many them behind them, before them, they don't neglect we country. Okay, there is lawlessness, there is social service things them not there in place. There's no good hospital, drinking water as the pipe and not even if you go say you go make pipe. I see a poll where they say that they make Kenema where they begin get lights, Kenema area, then side and they where they begin get light from Senegal, which is good. From where small they say Bubuna waterfalls. What happened to that up to today? Hydroelectric power 7 time we go on a trip. Then they with school, then they take trip. Now the beginner not even take trip. There is nothing for them to look forward to be a child. Picking they're not able to be a child. And the child grows up to be an adult. And then what do you expect of that adult? It takes the grace and the mercy of God. But if we not mold the picking them, when for mold them? If we not mold them, it is the same product we're going to get, no matter how the education system, no matter how they go sit down, they educate. Because the school teacher, they will they inside. Number one, they not get good qualification. Number two, the one they will get good one, they not they pay their enough salary. So there's bribery, there's corruption in the schools. Mama, they go pay for them picking, they're able to pass them, where not they get the knowledge where you're supposed to get, where go graduate, even college, teacher, then they sleep with speaking them, a professor, then they sleep with speaking them, big people, then they all kind rubbish prostitution. We see a BBC thing where the prostitution of young girls going out there and selling their body. First they will be the grow up when they say you're not a girl, you're not outcast. Then we get only a handful of people that want a girl, but now the women are selling their bodies for money, for things. All is about survival. I'm not going to cry them down, but it is their mind. They can make up and back, say, there are other ways you can find money than selling your body. There are other ways. And there are no institution there for mentor these children. Because if you don't have a parent to mentor you, if you don't have a parent, if you didn't come from a home, your home is broken. So tell your auntie where they call inside for going to market all day. The picking and they grow picking. My sister, my little sister, it been get an organization, still get them in area where been there. It get at them picking, they say because in the city picking they walk on a street where school come on, mama they na market, mama they na walk, mama they na waiting and call. It get then they teach them for let them not go on streets, help them do their homework. We don't have no mentors. We don't have those kind of people where they help we for grow and thrive now we environment. Beaucoup thing wrong in a salon. 60 years, we get for come back to the table. We're not going to able to fix all things, but let we build the foundation. It is okay to take a leap. It is okay to do things, but if the foundation is broken, if we not fix that part, that all way that all where we jump, if we not fix our hole, they go back inside the hole. That is the cycle, Sierra Leone Pante today. The same hole. We're taking leaps. We're taking we do this, but then the foundation is rotten, is broken. If you don't get the foundation for become a better citizen, if you don't get the foundation, if you don't have the foundation, mama not able to talk to him picking now because the picking they feed him mama. If the child is bringing money to the house, who's controlling it over the picking? You don't have no control. The country is broken. The socio-economical thing. It is good President Bio is putting out this famine. We don't talk how we see the door. This hospital we see don't go turn over grown. You don't go turn over dirty. He say they can't begin this hospital because we talk on this hospital the beginning of this month, end of last month, beginning of this month. Because it say anti-corruption. We spend beaucoup money for anti-corruption, then do the commissions of inquiry. But all the money where they don't get are only 2,400 or something, 2,400,000 or something like that. 2.5 million. But all that money we spend for chase. Who that they don't pay, we don't know. Are we really serious for do the work? Are we really serious for fight the corruption? We'll sell the fight for now go to the next level. Are we really serious? That is a question we get for the ask. And if we see no right, no matter if now we mama they do bad, we forget the courage. Stand and say, Mama, I love you. You know, I love you, Mama, but this what you they do so you know right. It just sound like when you mama get other people picking, they treat you right. You forget the courage, they treat you right, they treat other people picking bad. You forget the courage for saying, Mama, what you they do so you not find out. Then I swear na me head. Na ake na me head. I swear for me. Because you mama they do right, you see them there, you know they talk. Then they come back to you because you self go feel the raft of the stuff. All the one they don't thief for money, they don't go. What in the left behind for we? What in them do? Who's still what they do for then take and then care and go the west side go here, they say that they don't bill us, that they don't buy us now people country. All back they don't get nothing for sure. All the one they don't rule. They don't get nothing for sure. They don't care and go other people country. Who's one for them build factory? Who's one for them bring job? Who's one for them? Who's one? Una let we think, me people, they una let wake up. Let we left or follow the crowd and think. Let we go into we bed tonight and reflect and think. Is that the life you want for your people? We want to defend and support. It's okay to belong to a group. It's okay to cheer on your party. It's okay to be on the other side. But the question is, if your side is not doing right, do you have the courage? Do you have, as Sierra Leoneans, do you have the courage to stand up and say, wait a minute here, I love you, but you're not doing the right thing. We get for come back, we're going off track. Do we have the courage? How are we going to go forward? 60 years. We need to come back to the table. We need for heal. We need for reflect. We need for look. Because with society, they hold with people back for let them grow. We were done then at the other country, I will tell God thank you. I spoke to a guy, he's a medical doctor in Gambia. Okay, don't come to America. And I asked him, I said, why would I not been go back after the war? He said, if I been go back, my mama not been for able. Where they go now, where they make another life, they assimilate with the stuff inside and they make a better life. They don't want to go back. Because they get a better life and in Peking, tell God thank you. Right now, he's a medical doctor in Abanjuna. They can't fetch the America, your medical doctor, procedure for Lego, able to get a medical doctor. He say, if I've been there free, to me, mama not be for able to afford that. Because mama get them boku. Yanda now, the mama they make market to Tonobaram, be able for live, then get decent environment and community the way then they live. But a lot of our brothers have so much potential. Because if you listen to them and the way they sit down at them puts them. Their attire base them, then side there, when they gather, when you listen to, and these boys have so much thing, but they're trapped. How are we going to unplug them? Such process? That is the question. That is the question. Because we want good things, we want better things for our people. So we they ask the leaders, we they ask the one there where they rule we they ask them, they appeal to the place. Today when you go now, you bed, search your conscience. Are you doing all I can to change the lives of the people that have entrusted power into my hands? Ask yourself the questions. Ask yourself the question. Am I doing my best? If you are not doing your best, you need for change direction. We need for change direction. So me go left now, like always, go beyond beautiful, go beyond you. Go work on yourself. Go work on yourself so you can be a better person. Because if you don't have love, you can't give love. If you grow hate inside you, now hate they spill out. If you go peace, now peace they come on you life. Anything where you put inside you, because your thoughts become your feelings and your feelings becomes your action. What you they think, now so you they feel. How you they feel, now so you they act. So I left una all, you know, now the universe, I left una all in God's hands. Any kind thing where una feel say, you know, una they pray to me, I not the judge nobody, all man get on. As long as it's peaceful, I mind my own business, you self mind your business, we go together, walk together, we shake hands together. So I left una na God and may God guide we, may God bless we, and may we see vision for the future of Sierra Leone. So I left una till next week. I love you all. Remember, God is love. Go make a difference. Go be the change you want to see. So I love una all. I get me African beads, then I me and me people, and I just love this bead. And this is just in touch with my Africanness. So I love you all. I love you all. And remember, God is love. We still they pray, but we still they do back the thing way for do. Because not to pray no more, they fix. So God say, are they help who that they help himself? You know, they see don't know I receive it within a church. I receive it. The pastor, I receive it. That's why I say religion self the whole way back. They make we lazy, but we'll come to that one day. So I left Unana God and I left for talk boku. Till next week, by God power, they bring you be safe. Corona and a real thing. And we're going to take care of yourself, enjoy, and have a productive week. Fedima, I'm out. Good night. Thank you.
Mr. Shilon, you want to sign off?
Yes, sir. Good night, everybody. Hope you enjoy the show. Looking forward for being with you next week. Good night.
On behalf of my colleagues them and the whole viewers family, one tell all thank you with the listeners them. And by God power, next week we'll go sooner. You have a very productive week.